Ryan Gosling has done it again. He and a wonderful director and production team have provided a high-stakes cinematic journey into deep space where a lone astronaut must use every ounce of scientific ingenuity to save humanity from an interstellar extinction event. Now, is that not a brilliant story or what? Hello everyone and welcome back to AustinPlus Reviews, or Austin Reviews, where today I have got something that I'm going to be honest with you from the start. I had no intention of doing a review, no intention of seeing the movie. This was strictly, I watched this movie because I was strictly bored. I watched this movie because I was basically stuck indoors for quite a while, but I went outside, and I was just like, I wanted to find something to do, so I was like, I want to go into the cinema, mainly because there's been fuck all at the cinema recently, so I decided to go and see Project Hail Mary, and it is the best piece, it is the best amount of money I've ever spent in my life. It might be one of my top films, I'm still deciding, but it is a brilliant and fantastic film. So I don't want to really drag on this intro, so let's just get right into it. Now, in most reviews, what I do is the best characters. Now, this really seems stupid because there was mainly two characters in this whole thing, being Grace, who stands out as basically the phenomenal protagonist because of his journey from the reluctant, terrified teacher to a very courageous savior of worlds that feel authentically human and just earned. They go with like human emotions but extraterrestrial life, if you get what I mean, with obviously the secondary character as well. Since he carries nearly the entire solo runtime, let's be honest, his blend of like frantic lab safety first type humor and brilliant problem solving makes the audience feel like a partner in his survival rather than just like watching it from the window's perspective, being a spectator. Because by the time he's forced to make his final heart-wrenching choice, his transformation into a man of selfless integrity is what gives the film its true emotional core. And that is why it's such a brilliant film. Now, I don't mind space movies. I'm not overly fussed. I mean, I love like physics and stuff, but I've never been too fussed about physics, about space films. However, this hit hard. Now, the second character, it kind of goes without saying, as he is the only other character that was in the film, and arguably maybe the best, we don't know, is Rocky. Because despite him being a non-human entity, Rocky steals the show through like a combination of ingenious mechanical design, by the way, way ahead of our time, and a personality that basically radiates warmth and just tireless curiosity. His unique way of communicating and his loyalty create a really profound emotional resonance with most viewers, proving that the most compelling human connection in the film doesn't actually need to have a human at all. Because by serving as the perfect tin foil for Grace's frantic energy, Rocky provides the steady, selfless heart that earns that cold space odyssey into the story. And it's just, the whole film's about friendship. I know it's about space and all, but it is just genuinely about friendship as well. Now, when moving on to the best moments of the film, there is, I think, I'd say 5 that stand out, I would say. Probably 5 that really do layer this film perfectly. And I know there's going to be some people that disagree with this, because I have spoken to people who have seen this. Now, they had every intention of seeing this film. This was someone who had no clue they were, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But first of all is when Rocky and Grace actually meet for the first time. Their initial meeting in this film, from the Hail Mary ship and then the Blip A, which, if for those who don't know, Blip A was Rocky's ship, is a masterclass in both tension and wonder. So two directors and writers, Lord and Miller, trade a lot of traditional scary alien tropes for curiosity, focusing rather on the mechanical beauty of the Iridian ship, which is Rocky's species. In the moment that the airlock opens, we first see Rocky's 5-legged rock-like form in a very instant classic sci-fi cinema type vibe. It's not the same horror like you had when the alien was revealed in the Alien movies, but this was more like to be fair, it kind of had that effect because I did get jumped when that thing came out. But I've seen the trailers. I know that thing's going to be adored. But to be fair, it's an alien. I'm not surprised Grace didn't go, yeah, that, I'm out. Now, the next scene, or sequence, I would say, wasn't it particularly a scene, is the, like, attempt to harvest, and I'm trying to say this right, is the Adrian atmosphere, like, something like that. So the sequence where they attempt to harvest something from the upper atmosphere of the planet Adrian is the film's most high-octane action set piece. Now, this film was drama. This film was, like, it was kind of comedy, it was sci-fi, it was drama, but it was also action-packed to an extent. Because it layers everything perfectly. The technical failure leading to the uncontrollable spin of the ship, and then Rocky's desperate self-sacrificing move to save Grace from, like, the vacuum of space, because obviously Grace can't survive in space as he is a human, but Rocky can't survive in oxygen. That's why they have that big, like, cylindrical stuff and shapes in the ship. Now, this scene is so breathtakingly emotional, and I don't know if that's proper English, I don't care, but it is so, it shows that even such little time, I actually don't know how long this took, like, for Rocky meeting Grace, because we do find out that, obviously, in those data logs, you find out, oh, yeah, I've met an alien. Then he's got another one where he's saying that thing has got incredible hearing. But in this, you see, like, that even that short-term period of their friendship, they value more than anything. And it's so heartwarming. Now, the next scene it's not actually a scene, it's just something I want to talk about, and it's the astrophage visuals. Now, the film does an incredible job of making the microscopic, like, threat, which of this whole film, which is the astrophage, look terrifying. However, it still looks beautiful. Now, the picture on the screen is the shimmering gold/red glow of the astrophage as it consumes the sun's energy. Now, that is what the whole idea around the film. Now, but it is so beautiful, and it's so ominous. It's got such a vibrant look to it. Like, you wouldn't think that was the enemy. You'd think that was like an after effect, which it probably is, but it looks so amazing in 4K. Now, recently, I realized I don't have the greatest eyesight. Fair enough. But I also realized that I needed glasses, and I realized that I need to use them when I go to the cinema. And this was the first film I saw with these glasses, and I'm so glad I did, because I saw every particle that was on that screen. Now, the scene where Grace first, like, observes them under a microscope, realizing that the sheer scale of extension event sets a haunting tone for the rest of the mission, it really does, because, like, the first sequence of the film I can understand is a bit washy, and you don't know what's going on, and I think that's how it's supposed to be structured, because he's just waking up in the ship, and then you realize the flashbacks, which is what this next thing I want to talk about. And I think the start of the film is supposed to confuse you, and it's a weird structure to go with, but it does work. Now, as I was saying, the flashbacks I think are very important and well, like, incorporated to all of this film, because one of the most gut-wrenching moments occurs when Grace finally recovers his, like, full memory and realizes he did not volunteer for that mission. He was forced. Now, the scene where Eva Strait, the person that was heading the whole project, has him forcibly drugged and loaded onto a ship that is then recontextualized his whole entire journey. She did a bad thing that ended up in a good way. Still don't agree with what she did. I do think that does bring around the whole idea of, like, she forced him to turn into that stereotypical hero that is flawed. But he's still a relatable human, which is I think the most crucial part of all of this. Now, the thing that I think gets most people is my opinion on the ending. I like the ending. I like the ending that this film had, but not a lot of people did, and they think they should have, like, gone with something different or do a second film. Completely disagree. Now, the climax where Grace discovers Rocky's fuel has been compromised is the film's basically an emotional knockout. His decision to turn around, giving up his only chance to see Earth again, or to save his friend, is a beautiful payoff to their basically science buddy type bond. The idea of like where are these characters now ending is basically perfect for the emotional resolution that this whole movie gave, because seeing the older Grace standing in a transparent dome on the surface of Irid, I believe is what it's called, teaching a group of young Iridians about biology is the ultimate happily ever after, and that's why I don't think this film needs a second film. And because at the end of the day, it is a happy ever after. It is what he chose to do, and he wanted to hang out with his friends. He accepted that they're aliens, and he just wanted to hang out with them because he had more connection with him than he did anyone else back on Earth. Fair enough. Now, as I was saying, there was people that were talking about the chances of a sequel. With the film already cemented as the breakout hit of early 2026, grossing over $420 million and holding a very strong 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, the conversation around a sequel has shifted from if to when. While Amazon MGM is reportedly eager to fast-track the franchise given the massive popularity of Rocky, the author remains very the ultimate gatekeeper, and I'm with him because he has confirmed that while he is basically toying around with the ideas of doing a second story, this is based off a book. Now, not a lot of people know this. They shouldn't do a sequel. It's not necessary. But the film's record-breaking box office is basically amaze. Now, in terms of other reviews, let's break it down. Hollywood Reporter said that Ryan Gosling proves that he can play a playable chemistry with even a literal rock in the thrilling space odyssey that is beautifully warmed by humanity and hope. Metacritic said a visually dazzling space odyssey carried effortlessly by the gravitational pull of Gosling at his most winning. The film is a near miraculous fusion of smarts and heart. Couldn't agree more. The Guardian said that while the quippy adorability of the lead duo occasionally skates close to smugness, the film succeeds a mega budget spectacle that embeds comedy as a genuine value add. Plugged In said that though it faces a bumpy ride with some mild profanity, the film is a visual marvel that replaces The Martian's focus on self-preservation with a moving message about laying down one's life for others. And then Campus Times said, by blending the existential scale of Interstellar with the innocent charm of The Iron Giant, Lord and Miller have created a spirited, technical, flawless masterpiece of practical effects. Again, couldn't agree more. There were some people that were asking that should Rocky get his own show, and here is my thoughts on this matter. The prospect of a Rocky spin-off series is a double-edged sword that has sparked intense debate among fans and critics alike since the film's debut. On the one hand, a prequel series exploring the Iridian society and the Rocky's life as a celebrated engineer before the Blip A ship mission as well. It would also offer an unprecedented look at the non-human based world building, potentially utilizing the film's groundbreaking echolocation-based visual style, because that is what the Iridians are compared to the humans. However, much of Rocky's magic lies in the dynamic of Riley and Grace. And I know that sounds weird, but it does. You wouldn't get the same a comedy that you would from that than you would with that. It would be very forced. While we're here, I thought we'd share some fun facts. This film is interestingly enough based on a book written by Andy Weir in 2021 and follows the same story as the movie. The critic score is rated 94 right now, one of the highest scores of the year so far, while the audience score for this movie is 96% of people that enjoyed it. Since this movie's release, it has accumulated over $421 million in the worldwide box office, which is good considering the movie costed $200 million to actually produce. Now, my overall review is Project Hail Mary is a rare triumph that manages to basically do all of the math that feels as exhilarating as a high-speed chase. It's successfully translating the dense technical brilliance of Andy Weir's prose into a vibrant, soul-stirring spectacle. That book has been brought to life. Now, I have read the book. I don't read many books. I had no clue. Probably should have really realized this because I read this book during lockdown when it first came out because it was in a library. I was bored. I had no clue that this was the same thing. I do not have any recollection of that until I remembered what I read in the book, and I was like, yeah, this sounds very similar and it's very good. By grounding the existential idea and threat of the astrophage, you have something that's so small but so realistic in a way. It is such a almost relatable story, depending, because we don't know if astrophage is a real thing. But between Ryan and Grace and Rocky, the film transcends the lone survivor subgenre to become a very profound mediation on the power of collaboration and friendship, which is arguably what it's all about. Now, I honestly believe, even if you are not a fanatic in terms of space movies, this movie still pulls on your heartstrings, and it is a film for everyone. And take that from someone who had no interest in watching the movie and watched it because he just was bored and wanted to leave the house. But without further ado, folks, that is the end of today's video. I do hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe and comment what else you would like to see on this channel. But I hope you have an amazing day and week as always, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye now.
Yeah.